It's been 23 years since 13 priceless works of art were stolen from the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston. Now the Gardner and the FBI have rolled out a public appeal similar to the one launched just prior to Whitey Bulger's capture, and it comes complete with wanted posters. These FBI posters do not sport the usual most wanted suspects. Instead, they display Vermeers, Degas, and Rembrandts, all in an effort to get someone to come forward with what they know about the most significant art heist in history. Now, Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum Director Ann Hawley is opening up about the loss.
The theft was such a painful and horrible moment in the museum's life.
Until now, Hawley has said little about the theft and what happened in the immediate aftermath.
We also were being threatened from the outside by criminals who wanted attention from the FBI, and so they were threatening us and threatening putting bombs in the museum. We were evacuating the museum. Staff members were under threat. No one knew really what kind of a cauldron we were in.
Meanwhile, the FBI has followed thousands of leads worldwide, from Europe to Ireland to Japan, and they believe they know who might have taken the art. I am joined now by one of the lead investigators into the Gardner heist. Jeff Kelly is a special agent in the FBI's Boston field office and a member of the Art Crime Unit. Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you.
And
nice
you've
to be
been
here.
involved with this for at least 10 years.
It's actually 11 years now that I've been the investigator on this case.
All right. I watched the entire public service that you've put out a couple times now because it was out. It's been out almost a year ago. And you say in there that you essentially know who did it. Why can't you say?
Well, you know, we have to temper what we put out there in the public. You know, certainly we want to get the assistance of the public, and we felt it was important to kind of lay our cards out on the table and say we know who did it, and we know who was involved, but we need your help. We still have an investigation here, and we still have to preserve the integrity of the investigation. And because of that, we can't tell you everything. And I know it's kind of a little tantalizing to put that out there and not be able to follow it up and say this is who we think did it.
Have you talked to the person?
We've certainly spoken to a lot of people. We've spoken to the people that we think might have been involved, and we've spoken to some other people. It's gotten us to where we are right now. And basically, we need the help of the public. We've used it before, and it's been great, and we continue to try and solicit the help from the public.
Ann Hawley told us, and we'd never heard that before, that right after the heist that there was all kinds of bomb threats and the museum was threatened, and I didn't know anything about that. Explain that. What happened?
Yeah, there were certainly when you have a case of this magnitude, people are going to come out of the woodwork. That's what happened shortly after the case. It happened over the years, where people came forward either claiming to have information about the theft or coming forward to try and extort some money out of the museum. So this has been such an unusual investigation. I've been working it for 11 years, but obviously it's been almost 24 years since it happened. And it's run the gamut of everything from an art investigation to a drug investigation to extortion investigation. I mean, it's really encompassed every type of federal statute that you could think of.
The former Boston Herald reporter Tom Ashberg, as you well know, has a great tale, you know, of being essentially blindfolded and taken to a place where he was unrolled, somebody unrolled something, and then he got some chips and had them. Do you think that there was any credibility, any possibility that what he saw was one of the real pieces?
You know, I know Tom, and he has utmost integrity. Yeah. But from what I've learned about the art itself, I don't think that what he saw was the actual painting. He described it as being unrolled, kind of unfurled. But from speaking to the experts, both at the museum and at other museums, the paintings are so thick that they would really be almost impossible to roll up. And if you were to, they kind of have the consistency of cardboard. And because of that, that's one of those things when we get tips, and we get a number of tips, you can kind of vet those out right at the beginning when somebody says somebody unrolled it like a poster, took it out of a tube. That's a kind of a popular Hollywood conception, but it really isn't accurate when you're describing these paintings, which are really hundreds of years old. Do
you think that they are still in existence, and do you think that they're together? Because it was 13 objects, and some of them were odd objects. They weren't all paintings. Right. Do you think that they're together?
I don't know if they're still together. I think they're all in existence. You know, that's one of the, you have to be cynical in this position, and certainly one of the things that we had to look at was, did these paintings get destroyed right after? When these guys woke up and they realized that they committed the heist of the century, did they panic and destroy them? And that's why we haven't seen them. It's a possibility. It's a slim possibility, but we've had confirmed sightings of some of these pieces throughout the 90s and into the early 2000s, and that really gives us a comfort level that if these paintings had not been destroyed then, they're still in existence today.
All right, well, we're going to stay on this story because it's endlessly fascinating.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Jeff Kelly.
Thank